Now you got to pour over another Jaguar loss. So it's kind of a bizarro feeling to hear XL Primetime starting at 3 o'clock instead of handing off to the Francis Show at 3 o'clock, but we've got it. Matt Hayes is on vacation. Big Surse is off today, but we got Coach Campo, as you heard him tell Hacker and Rick Ballou that he was going to be here for the next 3 hours. And Mia, we are all ready to rock and roll. So happy to have you. And I say bizarro because that's a Seinfeld reference. Nothing is as you expect it to be. And when this team is 0 for December right now, I don't think anybody expected that. December 4th, L. December 10th, L. December 17th, L. December 24th, L. Last week I said they're going to have to take the 3 U's in Duval and add the 3 L's, and now it's 4 L's. So we're going to get into it today, a Beaver Chevy, Beaver Toyota Tuesday, but let's at least start out with our Christmas cheer. Did we have good Christmas cheer? You took a trip.
We did, yep. Yes. And I came back somehow, some way after gloating about my tonsillectomy and how I haven't had a cold since last March. Yeah. Get home. My brother and sister had the classic Christmas cold. They felt better by Sunday. I woke up yesterday morning and suddenly I'm like, oh no, there's the tickle in the throat. But hey, made it back. Shout out to United Airlines because it was a bit of a bumpy ride, but very happy to be back in the saddle and very happy that we have Coach Campo with us for not 1, but 3 hours, Joe.
Good Christmas, Coach?
Very good, very good. And by the way, Mia, you might not feel good, but you're looking good.
I appreciate it. Good. The beauty of makeup.
Yeah, I doubt that. But yeah, we had a good Christmas other than the game. You know, obviously, I think that affected all of us. But family and friendship, and you know, it was a fun time.
Yeah, that's the key. I hope everybody had a good one. You guys can let us know if you still have some Christmas cheer. If you're off this week, you can hit the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures at 641-1010. We had the Italian Eve, the Christmas Eve, with all that, you know, awesome.
The 7 fishes.
Red gravy and all that stuff. Yeah. So, yeah, we crushed it. And then Christmas Day, definitely had a great time yesterday with all of our family and friends. So hopefully everybody had a good one, but we've got to get into what wasn't good. And, you know, JJ is off today. Casey, I'm trying to think of whether I'm going to call him the former mailman or the current Casey. I'm just trying to figure out exactly what I'm going to do with him. But Dobson is in. He's manning the ship today. And you can find us on YouTube by searching 1010XL, and you can throw a comment. I'm trying to figure out the best way to start, okay, because you cannot gloss over this. You cannot gloss over this. I went into Saturday's NFL slate. Pittsburgh Steelers were playing the Cincinnati Bengals. I think most people thought, Cincinnati's got this. This is in the bag. Remember what happened over the course of the week, George Pickens and all the problems up there in Pittsburgh. They're not going to win this football game. Stat comes up. Mike Tomlin has never gone 0-4 in December. He's never done it. What happens? They respond. They win a football game. They pick off Jake Buster Browning a ton of times.
Rudolph, more importantly, came to town on time.
Coach Pickens just went nuts. And I guess Tomlin was smart in a way. He says, we're going to give this man the football, okay? This is how we're going to get over it. Bottom line is they win. And so I'm thinking, all right, dust off the 3-game losing streak. Let's just get it out of town. And lo and behold, they went down to Tampa Town and they got smoked again. Coach, 30-0 before points finally made it on the board.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was a rough day. And, you know, in every game, if you turn the ball over 4 times, you're going to lose a football game. I'm not going to say 100% of the time, but I'm going to say it's in the high 90s, you know, that you're not going to get it done, especially if you don't do the same thing on the other side of the ball. And I think the obvious situation, the offense wasn't clicking, and the defense didn't affect Baker Mayfield at all. And he had a great day. And, you know, that's one of the things we've got to figure out. We've got to figure out how to get to a start and get things going right away going in.
So let's begin with the headline from today. Doug Peterson met with reporters at 1 o'clock this afternoon, Coach, and he was asked if he has questioned or thought about doing something to shake things up, which we'll get to in a second. I want to stick a pin in that because you have a great example of shaking things up in the middle of a season or the middle of a game when things aren't going right with what the Giants did yesterday. So we'll put that over there. And so he was asked, would he consider taking over play calling? To which he basically answered, you know, the plays are actually, I don't want to say basically because I do want to quote exactly what he said to be journalistically sound. We've got to do a better job of taking care of the football. It's not about the plays. We've got to tackle better and take care of the football. Is that how you feel?
Well, First of all, yes to both of those.
Okay.
Yeah, no question
I'm all
about
for it, as John McKay said back in the day.
Absolutely. Obviously, he's avoiding that question, and he punted, basically, as you so succinctly said that earlier. But really, to be honest with you, I think he's been more involved as it's going, and unfortunately, he made that comment early that this is what we're doing, and now the expectation is that we have better play calling. And I will say that there have been some questionable play calls, in my opinion, during this drought.
Well, you can definitely point to isolated moments after a big game, like the catch to Elijah Cooks, which you know how XL Primetime has felt about Elijah Cooks. I've been loving on this guy since training camp and wanted to see him get a chance. Finally, he did, and balls coming his way. He pulled him down and made positive yards and made good catches. Well, then they run that reverse with Calvin Ridley, and they lose 15 yards, okay? And you go from 1st and 10 to 2nd and 22, and then you attempt another play, and you're 3rd and 22. Those are impossible situations. So I can poke holes in play calls, but I can poke holes in effort and play more than that.
Yeah, I don't think that they were in this ball game from the beginning. I don't know what it was. And, I'm hesitant to say that somebody isn't ready, because that's a term, who knows what that's the first thing that all fans say. Yeah. Well, they came out, they weren't enthused, they weren't this and that. I look more at, are they, as we said earlier, are they making tackles? Are they, fundamentals? And I don't think this is a very fundamental football team right now. And I don't know what they're doing in practice. When you say that the receivers weren't where they're supposed to be, to me, that's an indictment on the coaching staff, because, if the guys don't know where they're going, then don't run those plays. Run something else. And that's the concern.
Doug really did put it on the coaches. He specifically said that. We put that on coaching. That's on coaching if the players are in the right position. But then, since you brought up practice, yes, we're talking about practice. Trevor Lawrence, Sunday after the loss, quote, "It looks like we don't even practice. The stuff that we're doing, we look lost, no sense of urgency. I mean, the list goes on and on."
Well, when you guys have heard me in this show and in the fifth quarter, I'm a firm believer. First of all this mess started when Trevor got hurt. And
which time?
Yeah, he's been hurt a bunch.
The knee. Yeah. So we're talking about the Colts game.
Yeah, the first time. Once he got in that situation where during the week he was not practicing more than 1 day a week, you can't play good when you don't practice. That's my whole thing. Now, the quarterback situation is a little different, because, you expect that guy to be able to, especially if he's supposed to be he's a starter for a reason.
Right.
If he can play, your tendency is to let him play. But it's very evident to me that the chemistry between the receivers and the quarterback is not there now.
Yeah.
So to me, that's practice. No matter what it is.
Yeah, I can't help it. I just look at it and okay, wait a minute. He's gone through all these games. After that first injury, they won 2 ball games. They won 2 ball games that were on the road.
Yes.
Then they won, and then they lost and got housed by San Francisco. You want to know the biggest injury I think this football team suffered was the beatdown to the San Francisco 49ers, because they honestly have not been 100% the same since then. That led to them losing 4 of 6, and then now we're on a 4-game losing streak. But they had those 2 road wins before the bye week. You say you're going to get healthy. You come out of that. You have an important win against the Houston Texans on the road, okay, and you feel like you've gotten some stuff done. You've beaten the Colts and the Titans here in town. And then everything else is just unraveled from December 4th on.
Just remember this now. When you talk about the win against Houston, that's not very much different than Cincinnati and the ones we lost.
Yeah,
it came down to one play, and we were not on a full blast in that ball game.
But at the very least, it was 2 healthy quarterbacks trading blows.
Yeah.
Monday night,
both defenses were trading blows.
Yeah, exactly. And remember, I feel like we came out of that game going, I know I said it. Hey, this defense is thumping. This defense is physical. They're even though they took them a while to catch.
And then 8 days later.
Yeah. And then think about it, Coach. Browning comes in and embarrasses them when you least expect it on the road for a guy that hadn't been doing anything in the National Football League.
Right.
And then Joe flipping Flacco the following week.
Well,
anyway,
I was going to say that one in hindsight, he may be the second coming of Joe Montana all of a sudden. So.
or Nick Foles.
Right, true. At this point,
but
Flacco goes and throws 2 first-half picks this last go-around, and they still were able to overcome it because they got a good defense. Both sides of this football team have caved.
Absolutely. And they're not getting pressure on the quarterback. And so, that's defensively, we can't stop the pass.
which has been an issue all year.
Yeah.
And that's like part of the MO is if we stop the run, we'll have fun. We may give up yards in the passing game.
Right.
But so long as we're stopping the run, making them one-dimensional and able to tee off, it's going to be okay.
Right.
That was the philosophy.
Absolutely.
It may be a flawed philosophy, and many of you nooners out there, I guess we're calling you 3 p.m.ers minds, but that's just the reality of what they were constructed to do.
Yeah, they're a bend but don't break defense from the very beginning. And the only concern I have is, they didn't do anything in the offseason to help the pass rush, and we can't stop the pass. So, that's an issue.